All right. Okay. I think we got everybody here. I hope so. Good morning. My name is Coach Michael Burt. For those of you that don't, that may or may not know who I am, I was a former championship women's basketball coach that about halfway through that journey began to write books about how to perform at the highest levels. One book turned into 16 books. I built a championship culture of a place that had never won a championship. It only took me 10 years, and I had a full head of hair when I started. That tells you how hard it was, right, Brian Covey? And I retired in '08. Now, what's interesting about when I retired that's very relevant to this conversation today is I retired during the middle of the recession. And I was ignorant to the fact that we were in a recession. I was 31 years old. I just started my business and I didn't know any better. And so I retired from a job I had that had security, benefits, insurance, and I started a business right in the middle of the recession. And guess who began to hire me? Home builders. The biggest home builders in the country began to hire me because they said, Coach, we don't know how to sell houses during this recession. And when we started helping them become profitable, I understood how they developed subdivisions, how they marketed, how they sold. And I came up with all types of tactics and strategies that would turn around and land me some of the biggest home builders in other states. And eventually I would begin coaching real estate agents and mortgage originators, all because of that experience. So what's the relevancy of that time and this time? Uncertainty.
Good morning. I thought you were going to do this from home.
There was uncertainty. Okay. And anytime you have uncertainty, most people contract. Okay. Most people contract. So when you think about this today, what I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you a mindset of top achievers. More than anything, I'm going to give you a mindset of offense versus defense, because every person's going to have a personal opinion of what's going on in today's world. And I want to give you a few things. So I want you to write this down right out of the gate, because I want to give you some things. Number one, I want to give you my notes from today's presentation. I want to give you an interview that I did with my doctor, one of the strongest doctors in the country out of Houston, Texas, on his beliefs about the virus. I want to give you my $1 million follow-up ebook and book, maybe even audio. I'm just going to give all that to you to help you during this period. But the only thing you got to do to get that is you got to email my assistant, Melissa, MELISSA at coachburt.com. Melissa at coachburt.com. Now I need your name, email, and phone number to get all of these things. Okay. I need your name, email, and phone number to get all of these things. And I'll also give you the recording of this. So we're going to give you a bunch of things to help you during this period. But I do need you to email Melissa at coachburt.com, name, email, phone number. And it'd be helpful if you told me what market you're in. What city are you in? What market are you in? Okay. There's old Garrett Evans. Come on, Garrett. He was on for a second and then he's gone. All right, let's get started, guys. And I'm going to mute you, and then I'm going to call on some folks. So if you're not muted, I want you to mute yourself for a second, and because that way we don't get any feedback. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, good. All right. Let's get this part started. Now, I want to start with the mindset of top achievers. And the mindset is a real simple mindset, a very valuable mindset, right? It's a simple mindset, but it's a valuable mindset. And the mindset is it's going to be a fight, but we're going to win, okay? It's going to be a fight, but we're going to win. If you have that mindset that it's going to be a fight every day, but we're going to win, then we're going to find a way to win every time. Now, I always like to joke and say, you know, if King David would have known in the Bible that he was going to have the adversity he was going to face, then he probably would have said, don't sign me up to be king, right? But he had a mindset. And when people ask me about my mindset, it's real simple. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a fight, but we're going to find a way to win. Okay. My granddad used to tell me, when you got to want to, you can find a how to. Like I used to go to my granddad's and he would give me these one-liners, right? These little motivational one-liners, son. It's out there. You just got to reach for it. And he would say, if you got to want to, you can find a how to. So I want you to think about conditioning. Many of you have kids. And I want you to think about how you were conditioned. See, I was raised by a single mother who had me when she was 16 years old. She would not let me miss a day of school, all 12 years that I went to school. We had a rule in our house: no whining, no complaining. We couldn't make excuses. I remember coming home and complaining to my mom one night about my basketball coach. And she said, you can either quit or you can quit talking about it. And she said, oh yeah, by the way, I'm not letting you quit because you committed to it. So the only option you got is to quit talking about it. And that's the way I was raised. I was conditioned from an environmental, from a psychological, maybe even from a genetic disposition from my mother, that we don't whine, we don't complain, we don't make excuses. We grow up, we show up, and we deliver. Now, the reason that's important is because today, in today's world, when there's uncertainty, people who have not been conditioned well they don't have this toughness of it's going to be a fight, but we're going to win. When they have adversity, and adversity is an unwanted outcome. Adversity is a departure away from the ideal scene. When a person that's not been conditioned to be mentally and emotionally tough has adversity, a departure away from the ideal scene, then they crack. Okay. When the economy's bad, they crack. When there's an external force like a virus, they crack. When they like when they don't have that toughness, they just don't have the fight in them to go get it, all because of their conditioning. So the question becomes, can we condition a person that's 30, 40, 50 years old? Can I condition my employees to be mentally, emotionally tougher? As the manager, what I can do every day is sell them on this concept of the people that win in the world are the people who are the toughest. The people who win in the world are the people, right? Like money never follows stagnation. Right? Money never follows stagnation. Money only follows action. Opportunity always follows action. Okay, which is why we're doing these webinars right now. We could sit around here in our office. All my speaking engagements have been canceled over the next month, which is a typical way that I drive revenue. Or I can say, what can we do? What have we not been doing? Okay, and I'm going to give you 10 things you could be doing right now. So when you think about it, I want you to think about what activates your prey drive. Prey drive being instinctual ability to see something, boom, and go get it. For some of you, having your back against the wall is the best activator of prey drive you could ever have. For some of you, being exposed to somebody who's thinking big. Okay, I spent the day yesterday with a gentleman who has 1 million square foot of storage space. And guess what he had in there? Toilet paper. There were thousands and thousands and thousands of rolls of toilet paper where the toilet paper companies store their stuff there, and then they come get it and distribute it to the world. And he was making millions of dollars owning these storage facilities that people store their raw materials at, that then turn into paper plates and goods. I mean, it blew my mind. And his mindset was of offense, and it activated my prey drive. Being around him, listening to his thought processes. How does he build a business? How does he play offense during this period? How does he capitalize? Like, it activated my prey drive. So for you, sometimes when our back's against the wall and there's an external threat, there's a fear of loss. What if my business doesn't go during this period? What if people stop buying mortgages? What if people stop buying homes? What if people stop doing this? What if people stop doing that? Like, when there's an external threat, for some of you on here, it's the best thing that could ever happen to you, because you will get back to making prospecting calls. You will get back to following up like you should. You'll get back to calling past customers. You'll get back to spending X number of hours a day working the system. Like, you will get back to doing things that you used to do that you should have been doing the whole time, that now you're doing, because now, oh my goodness, like we should have been calling people the whole time. We should have been trying to get referrals the whole time. We should have been stimulating our economy the whole time. But no, we got complacent and we got comfortable because the mortgage rates are good and people are buying houses and people are refinancing like crazy. So we fall victim to what I call a success trap. It's a false positive. And the false positive is, oh, it'll always be like this. It'll always be this easy. It'll always be a piece of cake. I got so much business, I can't even handle it. So I want you to remember 3 principles. Okay. And these 3 principles are very important if you're ever going to be a big time person. And the top mortgage originator I've personally ever coached did $167 million of production. One of my other guys that I've been coaching for 7 years, just this past year, crossed over 100 million of personal production. Okay. I've coached several several 80 to $90 million producers, and I've coached little baby stars that are just getting started, right? They're trying to go from 2 million to 12 million and 12 million to 25 million. So there's 3 principles I want you to write down. And these principles should be prevalent all time. It doesn't matter what's going on right now. It doesn't matter any external threat. There will always be a threat. This year it's a virus. Next year it'll be something else. The next year after that, when you go back and watch this video I'm going to send you from my doctor, he's going to show you every threat we had over the last 16, 17, 18 years. This year it was this. It was anthrax one year. Then it was swine flu, bird flu, CO, right, like COVID-19, which is the 19th version of a cold, right? He's going to go through and break that down for you, and he's going to show you how things evolve. But every year there's a threat. That's really the main point. Now, so we need to operate like there's a threat every day. So there's 3 principles I want you to live by. Number 1, we go to bed tired and we wake up hungry. And when I say we go to bed tired and we wake up hungry, I'm asserting that no matter what your business did, success doesn't care what you did yesterday. It don't care what you did 3 weeks ago. It don't care how many mortgages you did last month, right? The concept is we go to bed tired and we wake up hungry, meaning hungry means I'm coming in or I'm working from wherever you're working from, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to work my selling system. I'm going to make my calls. I'm going to follow up like crazy. I'm going to focus on high value activity versus low value activity. I'm going to do revenue producing activities. That does not mean if I'm at home, I'm going to take 2 hours and watch Days of Our Lives and eat 17 bonbons and go outside and goof around. When I'm at work, I'm at work. Don't matter if you're in your office or at your home office. When I'm at work, I'm at work. And when I'm at work, I'm producing revenue. And when I'm producing revenue, I'm making calls. I'm scheduling meetings. I'm working my hit list. I'm working my farm club. I'm working my top 25 relationships. I'm checking on my past clients. I'm stimulating. I'm initiating. I'm not waiting. I'm not in a defensive stance. I'm not in a defensive mindset. Okay. And so this is very important for you to understand, guys, because lots of people right now, because the economy has been good, you've been doing great in the mortgage business, refis have been high. It's very easy to fall into this false positive. And because I was a basketball coach for so many years, we would win on Tuesday night, read the newspaper on Wednesday. Everybody would think we were really good, including our own players. We would get lazy on Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, and then we get beat on Friday night. Then everybody would get mad and cry and blame each other and say, well, how did we get beat? We were so good on Tuesday. Well, guess what? It didn't matter what you did on Tuesday. And that was a valuable lesson for me because it taught me to never buy my own hype, never read my own newspaper clippings, never believe I was better than what I really was, never to get complacent. Complacency is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. So number 1, we go to bed tired and we wake up hungry. Number 2, this is a great principle. It all goes to zero at midnight. You got to tell yourself that no matter how much money you have in the bank. Now, just out of curiosity, during a period like this, how many people really believe they have enough money? Okay, I'd be interested to see, out of all the people on this call, now we understand how important money is. How much money you really need during a crisis. How much money do you really need? Now, think about all the people in the United States that will be laid off. They will not be able to make it. They're making it from week to week or month to month. I know business owners that we're coaching that are laying everybody off. They laid everybody off on the first day. There's no job, no money, no ability to create money, no mindset, living paycheck to paycheck, which is what most Americans do. This is a period that will show you how much money you really need to be stockpiling in today's world to make it when there's a threat like this. Okay, it's an eye opener. So my philosophy is, I go to bed tired. I wake up hungry. It all goes to zero at midnight. Okay. And my 3rd principle, which every mortgage originator on the planet needs to hear, is there comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer. Okay. No matter what you do, there comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer. And that is the main thing that we constantly have to remember. Okay. And so let's talk about it. When you watch the interview with Dr. Hotze, Stephen Hotze, he talks about people who are in real danger. And people who are in real danger of any virus are people who have weak immune systems. Now, here's the problem. You can't start today building your immune system. That had to have started in the past. So his main point is, how do you build a strong immune system with vitamins and minerals and exercise, and your hormones are correct, and you're operating at high frequency, and you're resting, and your diet is where it should be? You build an immune system to fight what? To fight viruses. And you're exposed to viruses every single day. So he kept saying the people who are in real danger here, people who have been smoking for 30 years, people who have eaten poorly, people who have had diabetes, people who are obese. He's saying that, hey, you can't solve that problem today. The problem really should have been solved in the past, but what you can start today, trying to solve that problem for the future, which is build your immune system. So when there's an attack, any type of external attack, then your immune system is strong. Well, the same thing is true of a business. See, the businesses who are in trouble today are businesses who have not built a healthy immune system. And let me give an example of what that means. They don't have a good explanation of services. They do not have a selling system. They do not have a follow-up, a 7-touch follow-up. They do not know how to extract referrals out of their client base. They do not know how to become people of interest. They have not been stimulating their own economy. Because of that, their business immune system is weak. And because it's weak, they're susceptible. Here's another reason. They don't have enough products. If you only have one product and you can't pivot, or you don't know how to sell that product in multiple ways, then your business immune system, in my opinion, is weak. And so what I want you thinking about is, I want you thinking, how do I build a strong business immune system? And the way I build a strong business immune system is I go back to the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are minimum of 2 hours every day of prospecting. It's like taking vitamins, right? Every morning I take this whole big group of vitamins, and it looks crazy, right? Because I got vitamin A and B and D and C and zinc, and I got, I'm thinking about all the vitamins that I take that was recommended to me by Dr. Hotze. I'm on a certain plan to build a strong immune system. Well, taking vitamins for your business is the same way. Okay, I'm prospecting 2 hours a day. I got a hit list when I come into the day. I got a farm club of people who have indicated interest. Okay, I got my top 25 relationships that I'm nourishing. That's one of the number one things I'm doing during this period: strengthening my relationship with my biggest advocates and expanding my network of advocates. So I've got more phone calls out to my top 25. I got more Zooms I'm doing with people. I got more. What I'm doing is I'm stimulating. That's how I build a healthy immune system. So, you take a business like mine, and you say, well, man, if you can't speak and that's what you do for a living, is your business in trouble? And the answer is no. Our sales this month, at this point, are at the exact same point that were last month, that were the month before. Now, why is that? Because we got to find a way to make it work. We have to find a way to win. So what have we gone to? Webinars, online program. I got a kids academy that we're now selling that we didn't even sell. Now, why is that important? You set a mom or dad at home with their kids for 2 weeks, and trust me, they're going to be looking for something to do, right? They're going to be looking for something that kid to do, right? Now, so the question I'm asking you is, how strong is your immune system? How strong is your business immune system right now? Okay. Now, second point, and then I'm going to get into 10 things you can be doing for your business, and then I'm going to take any questions that you have. Because what we're working on right now is mindset. At the end of the day, it all comes down to mindset. Do you have a mindset of defense? Do you have a mindset of offense? Are you pushing and exerting, or are you playing defense and sitting and waiting, right? So I was doing an interview just the other day with a guy named Rock Thomas. Rock Thomas is a business life coach. He actually bought six Remax franchises, and he sold those Remax franchises for about $4 to $5 million. He retired from that, and he traveled around the world with Tony Robbins, and for free. He volunteered to go with Tony Robbins to do 19 events to see how Tony did it. And I asked Rock, I said, how are you so tough? Like I'm a tough-minded person because I was raised by a single mom. She taught me to get up every morning, had to make my bed, had to look like somebody, right? He said, well, I grew up on a farm in Wisconsin, and we had a rule in our house. Zach Jones, he said, we had a rule in our house. Sarah Knowles and Garrett Evans. He said the rule was real simple. The animals had to be fed every single day. He said when we got up in the morning, it didn't matter if it was raining, sleeting, snowing, hailing, the world was falling apart. Them animals had to be fed every single day. And my dad wouldn't let me out of that. I couldn't say, well, I don't want to feed the animals today. He said, son, if you are going to live here, then those animals have to be fed every single morning. Well, I look at a business like that. These animals got to be fed every single day. And what I mean by that is there's things you got to do, whether you want to do them or not. Prospecting is something you need to do, whether you feel like doing it or not. Following up with current customers is something you need to do, whether you want to do it or not. Working your database is something you got to do, whether you feel like doing it or not. So just remember, thanks to Rock Thomas, that's been my saying. I said, man, you got to turn it into a book. The animals have to be fed every day. We go to bed tired. We wake up hungry. So last point before I give you 10 things you can do. And I wrote down here how to starve your doubt. Based on your conditioning and upbringing and how you were raised and what you've been exposed to, all of that is going to factor into how you feel about an external factor. So how do you starve your doubts? I tell people that doubts are double visions. Okay. You got one vision of going, doing, creating, manifesting. That's a road. That's a vision. The problem is you got a double vision. The double vision over here is I can't do it. It won't work. I'm insecure. What if everything stops? What if everything falls apart? And what's happening is you can't have double vision and starve your doubts. The way you starve your doubt and feed your faith is you eliminate one of those roads. You burn the ships. You tell yourself, I'm not going to allow that to distract me from doing this. Confusion is a problem that appears to have no solution to it. Okay. Confusion is, I don't know what to do here. Well, I know what to do. And what I do is attack. I push, I exert, I expand in times of uncertainty, when I'm not hitting my sales numbers, when I'm scared, when I'm in a fear-based position, right? When I'm insecure, when I'm uncertain. Number one thing I do is take more action. Call more of my customers, engage at a higher level, get on social media more. Okay. I push out. Now, notice I didn't say spend money. I'm still spending money, by the way. Just completely redid my website. Cost me $17,000. I just hired an agent to get me a new book deal. Spent $10,000 on that. I'm spending money during the middle of this. You know what? Big time people are not scared. Number one, they've stockpiled cash. Number one. Okay. Number two, they know that this is a time where some people are going to prosper. I was on the phone with my buddy who runs a trucking company this morning in Dallas, Texas. Guess what? He's going to make a bunch of money during this period because they got to transport all that toilet paper and food, right? So he's in a business that's going to prosper right now. He's on offense, not defense. So there's two sides of every coin, guys. There's people that are going to struggle. Why? Because they've got a bad business model. Their business immune system is weak, and they don't have enough products, and they haven't been working a system. On the other side of that coin, during any crisis, there's people that are going to prosper. Okay, just study how much real estate Dave Ramsey bought during the 2008 to 2010 crisis. Okay, just study how many millions of dollars he personally bought in real estate during that period, buying it cheap, buying it when people needed to get out of it, buying it when people were over leveraged. So when you think about it, he prospered during that crisis. So there's two sides to every coin. You got to decide which side of the coin you're going to be on, guys. It's a personal decision that only you can make. Okay, so starve your doubt. Now let's get into 10 things you can do right now during this period to stay offense versus defense. These are 10 things I'm personally doing. There's 10 things my team is doing. And I created these 10 things because I was planning a big event last week. It was going to be on Saturday. It was with Sharon Lecter, who wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, with Robert Kiyosaki. It was with Tim Story, who's Celebrity Life Coach. We went out, we planned it, we set it up, and I was so excited to do the event. And I called every person that was supposed to come to the event, and they said they were coming. Well, then on Friday, Tim Story lives in California. He was afraid that they were going to shut the airport down in California, and he couldn't get back home. So we had to postpone the event. And I was upset. I was disappointed. I was heartbroken. We had worked so hard to fill the room. We had worked so hard to sell the tickets. We had worked so hard to get people there. And then we had to postpone the event. So I went down to Nashville, Tennessee, where I have a condo, and I spent 3 days strategizing. What can I do during this period? And I came up with these 10 things. Number one, I can study my business model and evaluate which things I enjoy and are profitable. It may be time, the perfect time, to torch some mental, emotional, or structural components of your business that are not working properly. I guarantee you that there's things in your business that are not working the way they should be working. I guarantee you, right? This could be the perfect time for you to torch those things. There's certain emotional things you got going on. There's certain mental things you got going on. There's certain physical things you got going on. That what I'm doing is I'm studying the structure of my business model. Where can my business model be stronger? Where am I weak? Where am I exposed? Where is my danger? What is recession proof if this happens again? Like, this is actually forcing me to slow down and look at the business and say, you know what, that ain't been working for 6 months. It just took this it forced me to look at other products that I've got that I've never even been selling. I haven't even been pushing. I created them and I didn't push them. Now during this period, it's forcing me to go, now, why didn't I push the Kids Academy? Like, why didn't I push that, right? So number one is study my business model and evaluate. Number two, look at my underutilized products. Now, you may not be able to look at your underutilized products. You may in your business, or you may say, look at my underutilized assets. I have assets that are underutilized. I got this thing that I used to do that worked. I quit doing it. I got this thing that I used to do that worked. I quit doing it. I got this thing that I used to do. This is an area of attack right now. This is an area right here we could go into, okay? So number two, I look at things that are underutilized. These are assets we have. We did a whole class on this last year, if you're in Monster Producer, on hidden potential. And I found 9 areas of my business where I had hidden potential. Hidden means not in plain sight, obscure, neglected, potential, kinetic energy stored until utilized. I had hidden assets that this forced me to look at, all right? Number 3, and every one of you need to be doing this, increase on social. Webinars, stories on Instagram, stimulation. What message are you sending to the world on social? How active are you? So I've increased all of my social media. I've been doing a webinar every day with a big time person. And what do? We use that. Okay. That video I'm going to send you from my doctor's already got almost 1,000 views on YouTube on that. That's 1,000 eyeballs watching something. Okay. Then I'm doing something on optimism. Then I'm doing something on how does your own personality profiles? How does your personality handle stress? Where do you revert back to in your personality profile? So every day I did one on setbacks to comebacks with Tim Story. That's got 2,000 views. What I'm doing, I'm stimulating. That gives my sales team people to call. I increase on social. Number 4, and this is a big one for you, plan proper promotion cycles. If you can't do events and you were doing lunches, if you were doing breakfasts, hey, them Chick-fil-A biscuits like you guys serve me in Memphis. If you can't do events where you're hosting people, you can be properly planning events and promoting events. Good events need 60 to 90 days of promotion, guys, if you're going to do it right. It's not you create it this week and you do it next week. This will allow you to properly promote some of the events you have coming up. And I'd be putting events on the schedule. We still have events scheduled in May. We have a bunch of events in June. We're about to release some big events I'm doing this fall with some big time people. I'm going to keep pushing these things out, because we're selling things today for people to come in May, in June, in July, okay? So this gives you a chance to plan promotion cycles. And a promotion cycle is not a Facebook post. It is a Facebook post constantly, with Instagram push, with stories about it, with videos, possibly webinars, with marketing collateral, with a database hit, with personal phone calls. That's a true promotion cycle. It's not a post. One post is not a promotion cycle, okay? Now, next thing, work the database. Now, you may say, well, what are we going to push people to? Work the database and push people to something in the future, okay? Right now, you could be hosting your own webinars like I am. You and a top real estate agent. Right? Like, you could be pushing people to webinars like this, okay? What you don't want to do is hole up in your office, okay, or at your house, and not do anything and play from a defensive posture. Listen, it's an economic reality, guys. You're going to have to do something to create revenue. Some of you creating a lot of revenue because of the rates. Some of you selling more mortgages than you've ever sold. Some of you having the biggest years you've ever had. And that's incredible. But there comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer. Just always keep that in your mind, okay? Now, next one, reconnect with disengaged clients. I don't know how many clients you've serviced over your lifetime, but I want you to think about this. Here's the real estate stats. 67% of people use the very first person that contacts them. They don't use the best mortgage originator, the best looking originator. They don't use the most experienced originator. You know which one they use? They use the first one many times, okay? Which ain't fair to some of the best ones unless you're the first one. So what if you're the first one and the best one? Which is why you got to stay at the top of people's minds. You got to be connecting and contacting. Okay. And for those of you that are recruiting, you need to be recruiting like crazy. You need to be talking to people every single day. Every person you come across that you think has some potential, hey, let me talk to you about this. Let me show you an opportunity that can help you. Let's take a meeting. Like, you need to play offense here, okay? So when I say reconnect with disengaged clients, 67% of people use the very first person that contacts them. The average person is going to buy 4 to 7 houses in their lifetime. Most of the time, it's going to take 7 to 15 touches. 98% of mortgage originators never follow up with the customer after the sale. And the average real estate transaction should be worth 5.7 referrals over the lifetime of the consumer. That's a National Association of Realtor stat. Now, if you told me that it's going to take 7 to 15 touches on people that are interested, you told me that the average person is going to buy 4 to 7 houses, and if you told me I could get 6 referrals out of every deal if I do it right, I'm going to go to work on engaging people like crazy. Okay, that means you need to be engaging with your past clients. Okay, I've done mortgages where mortgage people never contacted me after we did the deal. I've done real estate deals where they didn't contact me after the deal. What if they could get 7 more deals? But it's not just the referrals that build your business, it's the referrals from the referrals. So think of this as a contact sport. Okay, I know we're thinking we're social distancing ourselves today, but with telephones and media like this, we can talk to lots of people. Okay, so think of it like this. Sometimes I went to Kentucky and spent the day with that guy yesterday. You may look at that and go, well, Coach Burt wasted his whole day. Went to Kentucky, looked around warehouses. No, I went to Kentucky and spent the day with a multimillionaire who is connected to other multimillionaires who could write a check for $100,000 for his coaching on the spot. That's what I went to Kentucky to do, but just to connect with the dude. I didn't try to sell him anything when I was there. I just listened to him. I just talked to him. I just connected with him. Now, when I come back, I'll go, hey, there's 3 things I can help you do. There's 3 ways I can help you advance. Okay, once I know him, he may introduce me to 6 more people. This is a contact sport. Most mortgage originators think in terms of transaction. And the word transaction means discard. Okay, and what I mean by discard is we did a transaction with you. I can now discard you. I don't need you ever again. You need to be following up with a series of touches. My real estate agent contacts me every day. His team members contact me once a month. Thank you for the business, Coach Burt. Thank you for being such a great referral partner. Is anything we can do for you right now? We don't typically talk about real estate. It's a contact sport, okay? And that's what I want you remembering. It's a contact sport. Who are you contacting with your disengaged or past clients, okay? Next one, look for creative angles to generate new money. Now, this morning when I was talking to that business owner, Matt Monero in Texas, he owns commercial fleet financing, and for many years that was his only source of revenue. And then he started a secondary coaching business where he does monthly events that they sell out. And now he's got a second revenue source. Then he purchased 57% of a marketing company. Now he's got a third revenue source. And here's what he told me this morning. He said, you know what? If commercial fleet financing shut down tomorrow, the business I've had forever, I would have other revenue sources. Rock Thomas, who I interviewed, said he had 35 revenue sources. I have probably a minimum of 15 to 25 revenue sources. That means money's coming in from different directions. If you only have one revenue source and that revenue source is in danger for some reason or it dries up, then how do you get creative to generate new money? Okay, like I have rental properties around the country, high-end VRBO, Airbnb. Well, of course, in April, everybody wants to cancel. They can't get out of their state. They can't go. I mean, that's costing me money, right? Money that I've either got to refund or try to find a creative way. Can I let people down there stay another week at a discounted price? Can I incentivize people to come? Can I put up one of my top people? Like there's all kinds of things that I need to be thinking to generate new money. Okay. And that's what this is forcing us to do. All right. I got just a few more. Partner with big time people. Right now is a perfect time for you to be around big time people. Number 1, it activates your prey drive. Number 2, it makes you think bigger. Number 3, right? You need influence. Okay. So I have what's called a top 25. Okay. And I'm going to combo these 2. I'm working my top 25, which are 25 deep and meaningful relationships. I went to every single client that we have, all of our top clients, and said, I'd like to do a free webinar for you to help you, especially if your people are working from home. Okay. And I know you guys work remote all over the country. I'm engaging with people. I'm pushing people to something in the future. I'm getting them excited, right? So right now is a perfect time to be building strategic partnerships, scheduling meetings, which could be through Zoom, to plan something, event, work to stimulate your own economy. That's what you should be doing during this period. So when you think about this, I want you to ask yourself, if I force you to give me your top 25 deep and meaningful relationships, do you have 25 deep and meaningful relationships that are active advocates for you? They're fighting for you. They're pushing for you. They're sending you referrals. Okay. This is a great time to be doing that, guys. Okay. Now I got two more. Go back to interested leads who have not taken action. Okay. You know what's interesting? When the mortgage rates lowered, it wasn't my mortgage originator that came back to me that said you could refinance at 2.75%. It was another mortgage originator that was in our coaching program. And so I called my mortgage originator and I said, man, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you call me and tell me I could refinance at 2.75% on 15 years? And you know what he said? Man, let me check it out. I'm covered up. I've got so much. I get it. How much opportunity are you losing? Like if I had to bring people in to make phone calls, to schedule meetings for me, just to touch clients. Like right now, I'm about to bring in maybe call center people who are looking for jobs during this period, like musicians, people that are not making money. And all I want them doing is calling people and talking to people. Hey, this is so-and-so from Coach Burt's office. Coach want to let you know he's thinking about you. Love to spend 10 or 15 minutes with you on the phone, just reviewing what you're doing, see if he can help you. Like just the mere outbound effort, guys, is there. Well, although my guy's doing 100 million, maybe you could get to 200 million if you had 10 people calling. If you had somebody working a system, right? Like you couldn't get to everybody. Well, when you can't get to everybody, that's a problem, guys, because you're losing opportunities. See, then rates go up. Then you see what I'm saying? Then like you miss a little window of opportunity there because you don't have enough hands on deck. So this is what I'm saying. Work your 25 relationships. Go back to interested leads who've not taken action. And finally, the last thing I think you need to be doing is working on projects that have been neglected. There's not one person on this call, including me, that don't have a string of projects that you've been thinking about, talking about, that you don't need to work on right now. This is a perfect time to redo some things and rework some things. Those are 10 things I think you can be doing right now to stimulate your business. Okay. Now, a couple things. I want to send you this. We're recording this. It'll download. I want to send it to you. I want to send you my $1 Million Follow-Up book, ebook, video series. I want to send you my video I did with Dr. Hotze, Stephen Hotze, my doctor from Houston, which was great about the coronavirus, his personal beliefs about it. He's the #1 energy doctor in the world. I would say one of the #1 immune building doctors in the world, has a very different stance. For me to send this to you, you need to email melissa@coachburt.com if you want that. It's all free. It's from me to you. It's my gift to you during this period. And I want you to be successful because Loan Depot has been very, very good to me. Brian Covey, Chad Anderson have been very good to me during my coaching. And I'm thankful and grateful that I can work with you today. So I'm going to take Brian Covey off mute. And Brian, how would you like to summarize what we talked about today?
Man, well, I love what you covered. And I'll just tell you, I think for all of us, this new reality, Coach, you hit on, there is so much more opportunity than I think people are living in a scarcity mindset. That you nailed on some things that I thought about. I wrote down some ideas that big takeaways for me were webinars with real estate agents to educate people that we're connected with right away about what's happening in the market, that it is still a great time to buy. Rates are 50-year historical lows. I'm leaning in on podcasts. Like you mentioned, I've got some big time people next week, 5 of them lined up to do podcasts to get information out about different areas, not just mortgage and finance. There are connections we've made over our lives that this is the time to lean in and get comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm doing my first Facebook Live next week. Great example. I'm active on social, but there's areas in my game that I need to step into and pick up. We all have areas we've wanted to do something. I love what you said. There's things we know we should have done at one point, and now we need to eliminate those excuses and distractions and take action. Because if we don't, to the point of your originator, that your mortgage partner that didn't reach out, somebody else did, if we don't take action now, we're going to wake up 6 months, a year from now when this all turns, and we're not going to have a sustainable business. That if we had done the work right? When you said, hey, winter's going to ask what you did all spring and summer. This is the time to lean in. And we have the technology at our company to do this and to actually activate. And so what I'd say is if you don't understand or you need help with it, that's not an excuse. Reach out and get help. There's plenty of people that want to help you and technically show you how to engage there. So, man, I'm fired up. I wrote down about 5 or 6 things that I need to start not just talking about or doing a little bit of, but go all in on.
Well, one of the things Brian said, I want to bring to your point, is the way we use assets. A couple things I could see you guys doing. I'm doing, if you watch the video, if you follow me on Instagram, okay, at Michael Burt, I spell it MICHEAL BURT, or if you search Coach Michael Burt, what you see me do is short vignettes of voiceovers. And let me tell you how simple that is. I have a guy on my team that has never been formally trained. We hired him to be a bus driver and to be a utility player. And he started using an app called Splice, and he began just cutting videos. And I can do a voiceover on my phone. It's a 1-minute video. And then he takes footage from podcasts, speaking engagements, whatever, and he turns them into 1-minute videos. And we put those videos out, which allows me to share my core beliefs with the marketplace. Now, when Brian is doing these webinars can be recorded. They can then be used in the sales cycle. Like I was using my video with the doctor, sending it out to some of my biggest prospects. Hey, see what my doctor in Houston is saying. #1 immune doctor in the world. #1 energy doctor in the world. Like, see what he has to say about this. That's a value touch. So I use these assets. Podcast. Hey, I did a podcast with Judge Graham. Look at what I talked about in the Money Lab about how to play offense in uncertain times. Like, these are ways to build. Like, most mortgage originators are not thinking like this. And if I was a mortgage originator, okay, and if the world comes to an end, maybe I come to Loan Depot and be one. Here's what I'd be doing. I'd be doing everything I'm currently doing. I'd be writing books. I'd be having a podcast. I'd be on people's podcasts. I'd be cutting videos. I'd be doing events. I'd be doing virtual events. There is nothing that I currently do that I would not do if I was a loan originator. Nothing. Everything I'm currently doing, I would be doing. Okay. So I don't want you to get in that mindset of, oh, what he's saying will work for him because he's in the motivation business. Well, the truth is my business is hurt more right now than your business is. You're at a 50-year all-time low. There's never been a better time to buy, right? My business, the events have been canceled. So I can't go speak and generate leads that way. So I have to find another way to generate leads, which is kind of my mindset, but it doesn't affect my mindset because we should be doing these things anyway, guys. All of these things I told you, we should already been doing. I'm mad at myself for not doing some of these things. It just took this virus to force me to look at it like, man, that ain't working right. We could be doing better here. How is the system working? How do we build something recession proof? Those are kind of things. Does anybody have any questions for me? I know everybody's kind of on mute, so it's hard for everybody. I don't mind to unmute you. You can put them in. If you want to ask a question, you can type it in. Okay. It's my birds. That's hilarious, Steve Davis. They got me off to a good kick. I said, who's got them birds? Right? Okay. All right. Well, let's close this off. I know you guys got things to do. I want to thank you. If you do have a question for me, just email me. Email Melissa at coachburt.com, my assistant, and she'll print it off for me. But let me finish by saying this, guys. Let me go back to my big 3. We go to bed tired and we wake up hungry. It all goes to 0 at midnight. And there comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer. Don't have double vision. And starve your doubts, feed your faith, feed your belief. Okay. And remember, those animals have to be fed every single day. Okay. If you want all of this content that I promised you, email Melissa at coachburt.com. I'd love to give you my follow-up system. I'd love to give you some of these key tools that can help you, including these videos and a breakdown of what we did today. So guys, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me today. You guys got me off a good start and I certainly appreciate it. I think you're going to go crush it today. God bless you.